Nice. Thank you so much for listening today. My name is Joanna Shu. I'm co-founder and CEO of Freezenit, and we're developing an innovative treatment for head lice that uses only cold CO2 gas. So I'm a mom of 3 kids, and they've all had head lice more than once. And each time I was surprised at how difficult it was to get rid of for good. It's really common. About 1 in 3 kids will get it at some point, and that translates into around 12 million cases per year in the US and 24 million missed days of school and work. And who misses these days of school and work? Usually girls, and it's usually moms. And it often disproportionately impacts people who really can't afford these unexpected days off. Girls are more likely to get head lice with longer hair. It's usually mom, right, who is the household CEO who needs to take off work to handle this. Also, black hair is 10 times more likely to experience damage from the current existing lice treatment. So, and current lice treatments are pretty terrible, usually involving pesticides, lots of messy cream, and hours of foaming. So, and keep in mind, this is putting pesticides on 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, not what a lot of parents are interested in doing. What's worse is that the majority of cases in the United States now are resistant to these pesticide products that are available on the shelf. Walgreens, CVS, so you can go through the whole treatment process, expose your kids to these things, and still have lice at the end. So that's why we developed Freezenit, because we think we can do better. So Freezenit kills head lice and nits in one short treatment with no harsh chemicals. We've gotten tremendous feedback talking to over 50 moms, dozens of medical professionals, and they're really excited about our solution. I'll briefly explain how it works. In terms of device footprint, it's about the size of a coffee maker. It doesn't use electricity or water. It just works off a compressed CO2 canister. So if you have a soda stream, think that. And so when it's the gas is turned on, it flows into a vortex tube. A vortex tube is just a hunk of metal that separates the gas into a hot stream and a cold stream. The hot stream is vented out the back. The cold stream flows through a tube, filling a bonnet worn on the patient's head. So it's cold. It's about 14 degrees Fahrenheit. For only 15 minutes. And so put that into perspective, chemo patients who are undergoing cold capping to keep their hair during treatment, that's minus 35 degrees Fahrenheit for 6 to 8 hours. So we're much warmer, much shorter duration of treatment, and so we don't anticipate any negative side effects on the hair or scalp. Our competitors fall short for several reasons. So NYX, as the market leader, has about 40% of the in-store spend, but it no longer works against lice. Also banned in the EU and a number of other countries. Dimethicone-based serums is the next line treatment. It suffocates lice, but it's really messy. It's been compared to the texture of motor oil, requires up to 5 separate applications and hours of tedious combing. There are lice salons where you can go and someone will do the manual removal for you, but it's very expensive, takes hours of treatment, and it's not accessible at hundreds of dollars to most families. Prescriptions also can be expensive and irritating to the skin and eyes, and we've also starting to see more and more resistance to even more powerful prescriptions. So we plan to bring this product to market as a service, available at doctors' offices, urgent cares, health clinics, pharmacies, and the specialty lice salons. So this is B2B2C. This device would live in the doctor's office. You go there, get the treatment, 15 minutes later, you're out of there. No special combs, creams, shampoos needed. So in terms of value proposition, this is a major time and aggravation saver for families. For clinical practices, this is increased on-site service revenue. And in the beginning, we will be launching as cash pay. But for physicians, they're small businesses. So for them, it seems to be very interesting that it's cash pay in the beginning, although we do plan to pursue reimbursement, but that just takes a little bit of time. And for lice salons, that saves at least an hour of treatment time per person. A major labor and time saver. So again, B2B2C, this device lives in the doctor's office, so it would be a one-time purchase of a base device, one per location. Each patient or customer will be treated using a single-use gas cartridge and bonnet. Although single use for the gas cartridge is a little bit of a misnomer, those are refillable. So it's really only the medical waste is the single-use bonnet, but that's for hygiene reasons. And so this just goes through the customer journey now and what it would look like with Freezenit. So now let's say the school calls, you dreaded call, your child has lice, come pick them up right now, you drop everything, you drive to CVS, you buy the treatment, you go home, you go through the whole process, and you have to comb it every day, by the way, for the next 7 days. And you do the treatment again, because most treatments don't kill the eggs, you have to wait for them to hatch. What's important to keep in mind is during this whole 9 to 12-day circus in your house, you have a live infestation, and it could be potentially spread to mom, to dad, to everyone else in the household, which is gross, and no one wants that. And so with Freezenit, you get the same dreaded call, but there you would drive to, let's say, a CVS Minute Clinic or an urgent care or your pediatrician. You get the treatment. 15 minutes later, you drive home. Again, no special follow-up procedure. You just wash and comb your hair normally. The dead lice fall out. And you're lice-free. And the important part is the single treatment. So when you walk in your house, the lice are dead, and you're not bringing lice back into your home. So we plan to launch around this time next year with patent in hand, and I'll get into that, and completed regulatory work, and adding about one major chain customer per year, in addition to, which by major I mean over 500 locations, in addition to smaller groups and independents. We have 2 clinics signed letters of intent, ready to test our existing base device and our next generation bonnet. We're working on that bonnet right now. It should be ready actually in the next couple of weeks. And so we'll be able to use that data as part of our Class 2 device submission for the human factors, the usability testing. Like I mentioned, we filed a patent through the PCT, an international patent application. Something to keep in mind, we have additional uses covered in our patent that we're not pursuing just yet, but it's something to keep in mind for migraines. Same device potentially used for migraines and for bed bugs. Like I mentioned, the bonnet redesign is going on right now. Then we'll be able to conduct our pilot sites, testing. We'll be able to submit our Class 2 regulatory work and go into small scale production and launching around this time next year with our first small customers. Great ideas attract great talent, and we have a rock star team. So my background's in consumer products. I started my own skincare company, Refresh Skin Therapy, about 10 years ago. I took it all the way from an idea to distribution worldwide through major retailers such as Costco, Sam's Club, Rite Aid, and Walmart. My co-founder, Dr. Carol Spangler-Vaughn, has been in the life science research field for decades with a focus on cancer treatments, and our IP comes directly from research. So we're raising $1.5 million right now by a convertible note. We raised $55,000 to date. And so we're using that on the engineering work. And so that'll get us all the way to a small scale launch. So that'll get us the regulatory, the clinical proof that we need, and the small scale sales, marketing, and production. We plan to exit by acquisition in the next 5 to 7 years. I just put a couple of examples up there of also single device medical device companies, as well as a consumer product, because we feel in a lot of ways we're a hybrid. Although we're regulated, we really have to talk to mom and make the case that this is important. And so Freezenit will improve treatment for millions of children each year who get head lice. And if you don't remember anything else about me, remember that Freezenit kills head lice and nits in one short treatment with no harsh treatment.
Thank you so much, Joanna. We'll take a couple of questions from the audience. So does this also, deactivate the eggs?
Yeah, it freezes the eggs, so they're non-viable.
So, but when you wash, right, sometimes the eggs are very sticky onto the hair.
They are.
So how do they fall off easily after this?
Yeah, because lice are like us. They're mostly made of water. So when the water inside, they reach their super cooling temperature, they expand and they explode. So you should be able to be washed and cleaned out normally. You needed to know that.
This is a big problem. Firsthand experience. Hypothetically, if my daughter's Girl Scout troop was ground zero for this, would the troop be able to buy one? Kind of use it across all the girls?
Yeah, so it doesn't need to be operated by a doctor or by a nurse. It could be operated by anybody. It's just the size of the device, kind of like most people wouldn't just buy a coffee maker to make one cup of coffee. But yeah, schools, summer camps, Girl Scout troops definitely have expressed, they have expressed interest in having one on site to just handle things right away.
So thank you. So the FDA approval is just to make sure that it doesn't cause any problems, but it doesn't really have to do with the effectiveness of killing the lice. Is that correct?
Right. So we have to do the human factors, the usability testing. We also need to show them our in vitro testing we've already conducted. and that for the submission. But for the claims that it kills lice, we still want to show that yes, it works, and so that the effectiveness needs to do that, but it's not an official, full-blown, clinical trial.
Do you have any effectiveness numbers now that you can share? Because I know that different treatments, I mean, we did like a homegrown thing that's on the internet, but I saw a lot of data about the effectiveness of different treatments, both for the live bugs as well as the eggs. And where do you guys stand with that?
We've conducted it in vitro. So we have in the test tube, we know that this concentration of CO2 at this temperature for this amount of time works. But, we will see when, that's why those pilot sites are so important. They have very diverse populations because we want to calibrate, make sure that that works for all hair volumes and styles and ethnicities. So.
Okay, thank you so much, Joanna.
Thanks.